All right, everybody, it is your boy DRIFTXPORT. We are here back with another Overnights podcast episode. Today it's going to be a little different. There's only two of us. Our boy Justice or ARZAH was a little busy, so he's not going to be able to be in this episode. But I still got my co-host here, INVOLTING or Dylan, so I'm going to let him do his intro.
Hey, what's up? It's Dylan. Uh, Check out my link tree. Follow my Twitter there. You can check the podcast Twitter. Check our podcast and my Twitch link.
Right, so we're going to give you guys a quick little update on what's been going on. The last week that just passed, we didn't upload because we were all busy, and Dylan was actually a little sick, so we decided to just skip that week and come back fresh this week. So we went ahead and brought you guys a top DB list, our top 5 DBs right now, top 5 safeties right now, top 5 favorite to watch of each position, our top 3 hybrids, and then top 5 of all time on each of those. But before we hop into those, we have a quick update. The trade was yesterday, Dylan, or was it Friday or
Yeah,
yesterday? Okay, so
it was
yesterday,
yesterday.
I'm pretty sure if everyone's seen the news, Jamal Adams has been traded to the Seahawks, and Dylan has the info for all the details, so he's going to go ahead and read that to you guys right now.
All right, so Seahawks get Jamal Adams and a 2021 fourth round pick. And the Jets, they receive a 2021 first round pick, a 2022 first round pick, a 2021 third round pick, and safety Bradley McDougald.
Okay, so I do like the trade for like him going to Seattle because they're a good team. I think they're a better team than the Jets. But like I said, we were talking about this before the podcast started. I just don't know if the scheme fit is gonna work correctly. But if it does, hey, he's a great player. I hope he doesn't do super good against us, but he's in our division, so he might still do super good against us. But I'm still like on the offside of that being a little too much for his position. More of they traded 2 first round picks for a safety position, but I mean he's a great player, so that you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, I agree with you about the position part. Like, two first round picks is a lot for safeties where they're like highly expendable in the league right now. But a player like Jamal Adams, like, I feel like he's worth it because you could just put him anywhere on the field and he's gonna fit. So I think he's gonna do good in Seattle, but it just depends on the defensive coordinator and how he feels about Jamal, whether he wants him to play deep back at safety, if he wants him to edge rush or play linebacker. Because I mean it's been proven that he can play linebacker, play edge rusher, and still succeed and still be the top.
That's very true. That's why I said I'm not saying that he's like bad or anything going there. I'm just saying I think the defense has to work around him to make him like as good as he was. I just don't think they should use him as a single safety coverage or the type of coverage two that they've been running, or any of the cover three like single safeties where he's just in the back of the field, just back there. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I just with a player like that, I really think if they want to be like super successful, like I said, they should fill in the same role that Cam Chancellor that they lost. I feel like a player in the box like that can help against the run, play up on those tight ends, maybe even on package downs, maybe send a different blitz, like blitz maybe Bobby Wagner or KJ Wright. I was thinking about this yesterday and having him maybe matched up one on one with Fitz or any of the slot guys in our division like Cooper Kupp or George Kittle when they get out on those packages where I can see Jamal Adams fitting really well in a single like coverage safety against or like a single coverage against those guys and really making an impact on players like that.
Yeah, I just think you maximize his potential from just putting him all over the field.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think that's for that to be a win for them. They have to do that.
I agree.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into our topic today. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our top 5 CBs to watch. So do you want to start first, or you want me to start?
You can start.
All right, we're gonna start. So mine are in no particular order. They're just my top 5 to watch. So one, everyone knows I'm a big Cardinals fan, but the reason that I'm a Cardinals fan is because of P2 and most of the time Matthew. I followed him through college. They're just my guy. So of course P2 is gonna be my favorite player to watch right now at corner. Um, my second one on the choice, he's a little 50-50. We call him, we like making a little joke about it because he has a season where he's great, has a season where he's bad sometimes. But I like Jack Rabbit as a player. He isn't always the top 10 corner of the year, but he's a good player. He does what he gotta do. My third all-time favorite corner to watch would be Antonio Cromartie. I liked him when he did his little bit of a stint in Arizona, and before he even went to Arizona, him and Rivas were a nasty duo. Actually, arguably one of the best. Then right under that, I like Casey Hayward. Um, I really slept on him for a while in Green Bay, and then when he went to the Chargers, I just loved the way he played and how much he improved there. It was kind of like the team around him improved him, so I'm happy for that. And then my fifth one would be Byron Murphy, the rookie that we just drafted last year. He did a really good job getting thrown into a situation that was really horrible. And what really made me like impressed with them was I want to say it was between 5 and 7 when we played the Falcons, and like P2 was still suspended. Robert Alford was hurt, and he was like tashed up against Julio Jones the whole game, and he made like some impressive plays against Julio. So to see a young like kid do that for our team, I'm excited to see him play along Robert Alford and Patrick Peterson now.
Yeah, I like your list. There's no like players that I don't like on it. Like Antonio Cromartie, he's still one of my favorite corners. Well time Patrick, I mean, that's a given. I mean, he's just shut down and Casey Hayward, like him too, and then Byron Murphy, I mean, for what he had to do, like the shoes he had to fill with Patrick gone, Robert Alford gone, and being that starting cornerback against such a dominant receiver like Julio in his first season, it's rough, but he was able to get through it.
Yeah, that's
So I
why I
give him
give him
props.
props. Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and hear yours now.
All right, so I had to make some changes to mine because I thought we were doing like favorite corners and not like favorite corners to watch, so I switched mine up a little bit. And I only had to change one.
Okay.
But number 5, I have Darrell Revis. I was able to see him play, and like I started watching football around like his later years. I mean, he wasn't as productive as prime Revis Island, but I mean, he was still exciting to watch. And then number 4, Patrick Peterson. It's just he goes out there every season, locks down number 1 corners, doesn't say a word about it, and just balls out. And then number 3, Denzel Ward. Number 2, Jason McCourty. 2 of my favorite Browns. And then number 1, my favorite Browns corner of all time, Joe Hayden.
I like Johann now. I like a lot of the corners you listed. One of them that I don't know a lot about would be Jason McCourty. I don't think I've really followed him a lot. Like I know who he is as a player, but I've just never been like the type of guy to tell you like his stats every season or pay attention to him every season. I'm not gonna lie. Um, the stint he did with the Patriots, or when he was with the Patriots, he was good. The last time I remember, I don't know if I even watched a game of him in the Browns, unless it was like the 2015 game when we played you guys, and he might have been on the team. But
I don't think he
yeah,
was.
I don't remember. But other than that, I really like. He's really rubbed off of like that player that I didn't know who he was a lot until I started hanging out with you, and I'm like, okay, like this guy's like cool too. Like like someone that's actually pretty
Hmm.
good that like flew under my radar as like me being a football fan or watching football. So like getting to see you talk about him or see highlights from like you showing them or you using them in Madden is kind of cool to actually start to respect him as a player. And then the rest of the ones you listed, like I said, I really do like too. Of course, I think Denzel Ward is a beast. He's actually somewhere on my list later down on the other topics that we're gonna get into. And yeah, like I said, that's a solid list as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, so now we're gonna get into our top 5 safeties to watch, or just favorite safeties in general. So since I started off the cornerback one, would you like to start off the safety one?
Yeah, I'll start off the safety one. So number 5, you mentioned him earlier. Jamal Adams got to fill his shoes. Cam Chancellor, he's just a hard hitter. Just goes down the box, does the dirty work. He was one of the most underrated of the Legion of Boom, in my opinion. And number 4, Troy Polamalu. He was just everywhere on the field. Like you would make a play designed to the left side of the field. He'd be there to make the stop. A play later, it'll be on the right side of the field. He's there to make the stop. Like he's just everywhere. And then number 3, I got the Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. He's just such a versatile player that I don't know. It just excites me when he plays because you never know where he's going to line up next. Number 2, I have Ed Reed. I mean, he's the GOAT. That's all I gotta say. He's the GOAT. And then
Undeniable.
that's facts. And then number 1, Brian Dawkins, Weapon X. He's just another one of those hard hitters that I mean, he didn't take no shit from anybody, and he just lay everyone down without saying anything. He just Go out there and ball.
Yeah, I do agree. I do like that list. We have some similarities. Some different like players on my list too, but I do like your list all around. I like Troy Polamalu as a pick. I do like Weapon X as a pick. Jamal Adams, I do enjoy. Also comes from one of my favorite colleges, so I do like those kind of players. Um, of course, you already know Tyrann Mathieu. Like I said, also my favorite player, if not like second favorite player, tied with P2 and stuff like that. So yeah, I do like the way your list shaped out. You can see that we have like similar tastes in our type of safety play style, or just the way that we enjoy watching them. So I'm gonna go ahead and hop into mine. I'm gonna start off with my honorable mention first. Someone that I like enjoy watching. He's just right there, but he's not like right there. I like Malcolm Jenkins. I've always thought he was a really good player. I'm excited to see him play back in New Orleans again. Maybe hopefully he retires there. Like I said, that was my honorable mention. My fifth would be Eric Berry. I just love the dude's story, dude. I kind of like Tyrann Mathieu. Like put away like the whole like skill part of it. I just like their story, like off the field, what they've been through, what they came back from, just the way to see them fight through all that adversity and then shape off of like top of the line players in the league is like, you can't
It's
knock
just
that away from
insane.
them. Yeah, you can't knock that away from them. They're always gonna play with like some type of like chip on their shoulder. They got something to prove. And I really do like that. Um, my fourth one would be someone that I feel like got a little disrespected today, but we're gonna get that in another episode. I like Buda Baker. Um, I understand that those of you that are watching this episode today, you guys see that the first half of the top 100 came out. 97 was a little low, but I'll take it though. He's getting the play rate that he deserves. It's his second year or third year now, and to make the Pro Bowl and do things like that and get better year by year, it's exciting to see. He really shapes out as a player that you can actually move around all over the place. So I do like him. Third, I have Ed Reed. Like you said, go. There ain't nothing much to say. I've always like defend him as the best safety in the league. I think he's a safety, and well, him and Paul Amala both. I give them both credit for it, but I think they're really a safety that changed the position. Like they defined how much a safety can do on the field and how much they mean to a team. So I guess they could be the players that affect the Jamal Adams trade. That they're the ones that are putting those players in position to get those trades or get those paydays because of how good they were, and now that you know how valuable those safeties can be. And then my second one would be Adrian Wilson, and then my first one would be Tyrann Mathieu.
I like Malcolm Jenkins. I love that because he went to OSU.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
I love the love for the OSU. And then Eric Berry, his story is, he's just been fighting adversity his whole career, from cancer to torn ACLs or torn Achilles, whatever he did.
Yeah, dude, I was super shocked that they let him go. Like I did not see
Yeah,
that coming. The minute that I heard that they signed Tyrann Mathieu and then they released him like 2 or 3 days after, I was so sad. I was like, bro, the what could have been between them two would have been insane. Like it would have made their defense a lot better. But then I guess I can't take that away from Tornhill because he did pretty good this year too. But I think that duo would have been a little more dirty.
Thornhill's my sleeper safety for this year.
He's great. I mean, I like him. He did good. I think in the Super Bowl, if he actually played that game, I feel like the defense might have actually did a lot better when it came to being down in the box to tackle the run, or maybe even slowing down George Kittle a little bit in the first 2 quarters, because it's like you could kind of see that they were like leaving Badger kind of back to help with the running back and make sure that they get those tackles if he gets past like the front seven, and when you have a guy like Thornhill, maybe that could have been a matchup like problem for other positions because you can't really move Badger around in the slot because then they don't have like a trusty like worthy like safety in place for him. So I guess maybe if he was there, we could have seen George Kittle get a little bit slowed down maybe because you can match up Badger and him both on him. Take turns rotating them in and out of like matchups in the slot because they both did it. But it might have changed the Super Bowl a little bit, but I mean it was still a good outcome for the Chiefs either way.
I just think for Thornhill, being that he was a rookie last year and that being like his first shot and he didn't play a full season, he was impressive when he did play.
Yeah, he was, and like I said, you gotta give it credit. Like besides Badger, Frank Clark and Who's the corner they got the pick? 20. I think his name is 22. I can't think of his name right now. Um,
Charvarius Ward
nah, not that one.
or
Oh, Fuller. There you go.
Kendall Fuller.
Yeah, besides those three players, you don't really have a dominant like defense outside of those three in Kansas City. Oh, I mean, Chris Jones is there too, so I forgot about him. Besides those like four players, you don't have players like all over the field that are playmakers. So to see him, like you said, be a rookie and not play the full season, and then be right next to Badger, like lined up back there, when you have a guy like that next to you, it's like for a rookie, it's kind of intimidating. But he went up there and he stood his ground and played really good.
I agree.
All right, so we're gonna go for our top 5 CBs in the game right now and top 5 safeties in the game right now. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into that right now. Since he started off the safety one, I guess I could go ahead and hop this one off and we'll just keep rotating. So yeah, I'm gonna start off at my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Denzel Ward and Jair Alexander. They're both really good. I wanted to slide Denzel Ward in as my 5th, but I have someone else that's just got years on him, I guess, like a little bit more playtime on him. So I just wanted to give that dude a little bit of respect before I just, disrespected him and put Denzel Ward right above him. But Denzel Ward is definitely like what I see as the future player. Like you got players like they're like P2, Sherman that are kind of like last decade, kind of like they're getting close to like not being our newer generations of players. So if you were like to separate them by that, I really think that Denzel Ward is like the face of the younger guys in the league. If that makes any sense for what I'm trying to explain. But yeah, my number 5 would be Cover 3 Sherm or Richard Sherman. We like to roast him a little bit. But yeah. Or Darius Slay. I had them tied at 5th. Those are the two guys that I put above Denzel Ward just because of their playtime and how long they've been doing it for. And then my number 4 would be Jalen Ramsey. I really do like him too. My number 3 going into next year would be Tre'Davious White. My number 2, Stephon Gilmore. And my number 1, P2. I think P2 coming back off of a year that he was suspended. And, he's got something to prove this year. He missed his Pro Bowl last year. We did bad last year. I think he really wants to show people that, he's still P2. I mean, he's still tweeting about it, saying that he feels disrespected and that, he's going to come back better. So, I mean, you got to see that he's been doing what Stephon Gilmore's been doing for a lot longer. That's the only reason I put P2 at the top of the change. There's not really, like, no other guy really besides Stephon Gilmore and Trey White. They're going to go out there and, follow the number 1 and be successful every single week. Well, there's people like that. There's more people like that now, but those guys have just been doing it for a really long time.
I just don't get how Patrick just gets criticized. Like he at the beginning of his career, he went for interceptions, and everyone's like, "Oh, but what's your QB rating against you?" So he's like, "All right, bet." So he lowers his QB rating against him, and they're like, "Oh, but where's your picks at?" It's like he just can't win.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into yours.
So my top 5, I got number 5, a sleeper corner, Marlon Humphrey. He was locked down on OBJ. I mean, there was a little bit of holding that game for Marlon Humphrey, but I mean, I'll let it slide. But locking down OBJ 2 times a year isn't an easy feat whatsoever. So I mean, I give him props for that. Not to mention all the other corner or all the other receivers that he's had to go up against, like Juju. He's had to go up against Tyler Boyd, and that's like just in our division. And number 4, Jalen Ramsey. Number 3, I got Patrick Peterson. I feel like it's kind of low for me having him 3, but the top 2 just had like such good seasons that I can't take that away from him. So number 2, I have Tre'Davious White, and number 1, I have Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore is just consistently locked down all year. I mean, that dude was just putting on clamps.
No, I can agree with your top 3 too, like as well. Like, I mean, a little bit of bias stuck out with my list, but at the same time, it's like you said, you can't knock down Stephon Gilmore or Trey White. Like, honestly, if there was 3 number 1s, those would just be my top 3, like all in the same category, not like one being physically better than the other one. I mean, they're all super great and they're all good at what they do.
They are the top tier corners of the league, like no debate.
Yeah.
Or I don't think so personally, at least. But
Yeah, we gotta see. I mean, I guess you could slide in Jalen Ramsey right there, and like I said, the benefit of the doubt for Jalen Ramsey is because a new team, a new system. So we'll see how he plays next year. If Jalen Ramsey is really worth the hype that he was supposed to be in the first 3 seasons. So we'll see about that. But yeah, those are the top 3 guys. Like currently, right now, I really can't think of anyone else that I would say, hey, you know what, they're better than that dude at all. Because like these guys are literally gonna go out there against your number one, no matter where they go, and can fully travel the whole game. Whether your receiver takes 40 snaps or 115 snaps, these guys are gonna be on them every single play of the game.
Yeah, realistically, I should have had 5, 4, then 1A, 1B, and 1C.
Yeah,
Realistically, that's what I should have put. Because you can interchange those guys, and I'm gonna agree with you.
yeah, that's the same way I feel. All right, well, let's go ahead and hop into the safeties. So if you want to go ahead and start that one off the rotation that we're doing, you can go ahead and start off your list right now.
All right, so number 5, I have Derwin James, another versatile player. If you notice a trend between my lists, I just love versatile players and just being able to play all around the field. I feel like that separates them from the rest. Number 4, Harrison Smith. He's been at the top of the league for safeties ever since he's been playing, and he's in his early 30s now, and he's still doing the same stuff he was doing back when he was a rookie. Number 3, I got Minkah Fitzpatrick. He took a huge leap this year after he got traded from the Dolphins, and it sucks playing him 2 times a year because he just sucks. I mean, he doesn't suck, but it just sucks going against him.
I'm gonna be saying that against Jamal Adams. Don't worry, I'm gonna be saying that now.
And then number 2, I got Tyrann Mathieu. It's just versatility again. He's the most versatile player in the league right now. And then number 1, Jamal Adams.
Yeah, I do like that. We have Minkah Fitzpatrick actually in the same exact spot. I have him at my 3-2. And speaking on Jamal Adams about having like how you said you hate playing Minkah Fitzpatrick, I'm gonna hate playing Jamal Adams. It's like, dude, we got rid of Earl Thomas and sent him to your division actually to the AFC, so we don't have to see him no more. And then they're like, all right, we're just gonna ship you this fucking monster player right here, and you have to deal with him too. And it's like, bro, just never giving us a break at all.
I still remember the text I sent you when they got Jamal Adams. I just said, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like, dude, we don't catch a break out here. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and hop into mine. My 2 honorable mentions were Devin McCourty and Anthony Harris. Number 5, I actually have Justin Simmons. I think he had an amazing season last year. And he's like one of those players like with Baker kind of that gets passed over because of how good their team is record wise. Like people are not really paying attention to them because the team isn't so good. But yeah, and then my 4th one, I have Harrison Smith. He's just really productive as a player in general. My number 3, like I said, we had Minkah Fitzpatrick both in the same spot. Huge trade, might be the best trade of all last season. Literally, like the best pickup for anyone. On the defense side of the ball, of course, that was huge. The Steelers really got a big steal there.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Second, Jamal Adams. Like you said, there's really nothing much to say about him. Literally one of the best safeties in the league right now. And then, my first guy, I just got to give him props for how long he's been doing it for. Clearly going to be a Hall of Famer, and he's still playing at a really high level. And the defense around him is just really insane. That's really the only reason that I edged him over Jamal Adams, but that'll be Earl Thomas. I just think the Jamal Adams is there, but it's like a guy like Earl Thomas is just like a once-in-a-lifetime player because he can play call your defense and set your players into position. And it's like a dude that, like, he's like the QB of defense. Like, he's going to know, like, the looks they're giving him. He's been playing this game for so long that it's like you can't fool him with the simple things. And he's just around the ball constantly all the time. So, yeah, that was my top 5 list.
I can understand why you said Earl Thomas, but I'm not a fan.
I know.
I mean, that's my Browns fan talking, but like I've said before, my favorite Earl Thomas moment of his career, last season against the Browns, when he's getting outran by Nick Chubb, and just the second in time that he figures that he's not going to catch him, and he just stops. It's my favorite Earl Thomas moment.
I mean, that makes sense, though. It's okay to hate someone, even though they're in your division, and still respect them a little after. But during the game,
Yeah, there's.
you gotta hate them. After the game, it's like, this guy's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I respect Earl Thomas. I think he's a hell of a player, but when I'm in regular season mode, you better not be in the division, 'cause I'm not gonna like you.
Yeah, that's facts. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into our top three defensive backs or hybrid players. For those of you that are not familiar with the term, they're pretty much defensive players as a D back, like I said, defensive backs, but a hybrid could be someone that plays, linebacker, slot, outside corner, inside corner, or that's slot corner, yeah, my bad. Free safety, strong safety, or any other positions on the defense. So we're gonna go ahead and name our top three right now. If you want to go ahead and let me start this one, Dylan, because you started the last one, I can go ahead and do that. This one, my honorable mention, he had a horrible season last season, but the season before that, he was pretty good. I had LaMarcus Joyner. I mean, he still did pretty good with the Raiders, and I really do think him and Demarius Randall are going to be able to do something. You got to kind of give him the benefit of the doubt that he was forced to play slot corner because they had four corners get hurt last year, and then they were just at the very end of the season and no one on their depth chart. So that's kind of why his stats were bad. But I think if you give him time to play safety and move him around in his true position, he can really be a baller. Number three, I have Derwin James. Like I said, I really like what he does. The snaps that he takes at linebacker and things like that. And then number two, I have Buda Baker. I really like this kid. He can really be matched up at outside corner. He's more of an in-the-box safety against the run now, playing snaps at linebacker, and I do like that. But he can also play free safety, and he really helps us out in the long run. And then number one, I think this might be the best hybrid player in the league, in my personal opinion, just because we haven't ever seen a corner or a safety get rated this in the slot. I think Honey Badger's number one, just because he's literally one of the best slot corners in the league as well. When he gets a lot of snaps in that position, he is actually the only safety to ever get a PFF rating of above 90 in both positions in one season. So, and he's been doing it a long time, and not even really doing it a long time. What's crazy is you look at Tyrann Mathieu's stats and the injuries and the games he's missed, he's keeping up with top line players that haven't missed a game at all. So it's like the dude makes up for when he's not on the field by the things he does when he's on the field. So, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna get into my list real quick. Number three, Minka Fitzpatrick. I'm not really gonna describe much because I've already pretty much done it for all of them. Number three, Minka Fitzpatrick. Number two, Jamal Adams. And number one, my opinion, the best hybrid player of all time, Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay. That was pretty similar on both of us. That's pretty. I mean, that's equal. I mean, I say we see that pretty similar. So yeah. All right. So now we have the best secondary or honorable mention of a team that you think is going to improve. It doesn't really have to be the best secondary going next year, or you can do a wild card pick and pick the team that you think is going to improve the most. So you want to go ahead and say your team first, or you could do one. You could do one or both of them if you want, or either or, however you want to do it.
Yeah, I'll do both of them. So
Okay.
my sleeper for this year. I mean, it's not really a sleeper, but I mean, I guess you can consider it as good as secondaries are in the league. I have the Bills. I mean, their safeties, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, their cornerbacks, Tre'Davious White, and they're just gonna be they're gonna be a top five secondary this year easily. And then best secondary is New England. I mean, they proved it last season that they were the best secondary, and I think they're gonna do it again. Their depth, they're a deep secondary. They have great players. Jason McCourty and Devin McCourty are still playing at a high level for like 32 years old, and then Gilmore is the best corner in the league, arguably. So I just don't think he can top that defense.
Yeah, I do agree with the Patriots. That's a really good player. Even your sleeper team actually is going to do good too. I mean, they are great. So I can see both of them doing really good. But for mine, my honorable mention for most improved team, or not honorable mention, but my most improved team, I'm hoping, this is a little biased, I just got to throw them in there. I hope it is us. I really do think that we have the chance to be good if Robert Alford and P2 plays the whole season, because then you have Byron Murphy, P2 and Patrick. And I'm gonna throw a little shade right here, real quick, Don. This is not like to throw shade, but if we can have more games where P2 and Byron Murphy play like they did against OBJ and Juice in our division or outside of our division, we have a really good chance for our corners to be great. Because I really thought that was going to be one of the hardest games of the season going into it, playing against like getting the pass done on us because of how good Juice and OBJ are together. But for our corners to go out there and do what they did, it kind of showcased what talent we have as a DB unit now. When we really haven't had another DB outside of Patrick besides Antonio Camardi. So I'm hoping if we can play that more often, I'm hoping we can improve. And we still have Buda Baker and Jalen Thompson to improve. And now getting Isaiah Simmons, who knows where they're going to put him or how much he can improve against the pass game, especially against tight ends, which we were weak against. So I'm hoping we get a little better. And yeah, like I said, I'm sorry I didn't mean to throw a little shade at your team. I mean, it was just an example because that was literally the only team we played with two dominant receivers. Like we didn't really play anymore. Well, I mean Seattle, but they're not in the same
Let's
caliber.
not forget though, the Browns, Jarvis and OBJ, both had injuries that required surgery at the end of the season.
No, I know.
Both got 1,000 yards that season.
Yeah, no, I'm not throwing shit. I'm a fan of them. You know that. I'm just saying, like, for example, for me, like, proving my point as the corners, being able to improve. It's just if they can do that against two, like, top five arguable receivers in the league, like, hopefully they can do good against other teams with dominant receivers. Because we still have a pretty stacked division. I mean, outside of the Niners, like, receiver-wise, because, like, Seattle's got DK and Tyler Lockett. And, the Rams got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and there's going to be other teams down the line that we play this year that have good teams. The Bills are going to be a hard team next year when we play. Stephon Diggs, John Brown. It's like I'm just trying to name duos that I know, that are comparable to those two, and hopefully they can play like in that similar situation. So yeah, and then my number one team, I actually don't have the Patriots. They were in my thoughts, but I decided to pick the Ravens. I think the Ravens really showed up late last year and were really good. I'm not a big fan of Marcus Peters, but Marcus Peters alongside Jimmy Smith and Marlon Humphrey, Earl Thomas, and the safety that they have back there right now, they all did pretty good. So I think that's going to be my pick for the best secondary in the league next year. I'm not really sure how that's going to change out. And you could still see the Ravens slide in Eric Berry or any of these teams that we're talking about sliding Eric Berry to improve their team because he wants to come back this year. So if he can come back this year, you can see a guy like Eric Berry really affect these teams. And with the way trading's working this year, I mean, we've seen DeAndre get traded away for pretty much nothing. We've seen Jamal Adams get traded. We've seen all these superstars fly around like they're worth nothing now. So who knows? The Ravens.
Yeah, what was Pat McAfee's analogy? D-Hop got traded for a bag of balls.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's literally like it's crazy because like these players that you would think aren't gonna get traded or on the line of getting traded. I'm gonna cry one day if I wake up and we traded someone like Patrick Peterson or Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones would probably be a definite no, but Patrick Peterson with his contract being up, I'm gonna cry if I wake up one day and see that we traded him. All right, so going into our next category, we have top 5 all-time corners and top 5 all-time safeties of our personal opinion. Just of who we think is top 5 in the NFL or who we consider our top 5 all-time. So if you want to go ahead and start off your corners right now, and then you can explain the reasoning of why you put them there. Maybe they could be your top 5 all-time in general if you're doing it like that. Or like me, I said one that's just my favorite, but the rest of them are in general.
Oh, I just did mine, what I think is top 5 all-time.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so I got a few honorable mentions for mine. So I just threw these guys in here. I don't think they're the greatest cornerbacks of all time, but I think they're the greatest cornerback duo of all time. Hanford Dixon and Frank Minifield of the Browns. Back in the 80s, they were cold. Like, I never got to see them play, but I've seen, like, clips on them and stuff, and people say that they're the best cornerback duo of all time, arguably. And, I mean, like I said, I never got to watch them play, but since they're the Browns, I'm not going to argue it. So, and then my actual honorable mentions, I have Ty Law and Willie Brown. And then number 5, I have Mel Blount, part of the Steel Curtain, just beast in it. Number 4, Champ Bailey, think he's one of the greatest lockdown corners of all time. Number 3, Rod Woodson, another Steel Curtain member. Number 2, Darrelle Revis, one of my favorite corners and one of the best corners. I mean, he could be number 1 on people's list, and I wouldn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
And then number 1, obviously Deion Sanders.
Okay. I do like that. I like that list a lot. I even like your honorable mentions. But I do really like that list. We have the same exact number 1. I didn't even go front. I mean, I don't think anyone would not have Deion on number 1. But I'm gonna go ahead and hop into mine right now. So my number 5 is someone that I've been actually talking about a lot this podcast, but I still got P2 as number 5 all time because I do think he's gonna retire as a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed. I mean, the boy has one of the lowest passing ratings of all time, right behind Deion Sanders, against the number 1 target with a minimum of 100 or more snaps per game on those guys. So that's something really impressive. He's also the only ever player to ever make 7 straight Pro Bowls in a row. Would have broke the record and made 8, but the suspension kind of knocked it off, and now he can no longer get that. And let's not also forget that this dude could also be a Hall of Famer just for tying special team returns in a single season at 4. So, and almost breaking, or tying the second most, and almost breaking it. Devin Hester's at 5. So we're tying Devin Hester at 5 with first place. I mean, my bad about that. And then on 4th place, I have Champ Bailey as well. I think he's one of the first, guys out there that really locked down number 1 receivers in that sense for his time. And then my 3rd one, I have this dude purely off of what he did to defy the position as a tackling corner. I have Night Train Lane. I mean, the dude was a monster outside of just covering the guys he was supposed to cover the guy. I mean, this dude came down in the backfield and was blowing running backs up, causing fumbles. I mean, this dude was just like the first. It was like seeing Ray Lewis play cornerback and come down and drill you like that. And I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, this dude, I watch highlights on this dude, and I just used to think he was a Madden dude. Everyone just hyped him up in Madden, and then I seen his hit power and stuff like that. And then I actually finally decided, I'm gonna watch highlights when the recommended video popped up, and I'm seeing this dude fly down and shoot rockets at running backs full speed, and I mean picking them up off both their feet and sending them flying back like it's nothing. This dude's doing it like it's light work. So it's crazy.
You could honestly say he's probably one of the first hybrids.
Yeah, I mean the dude's an insane tackler at corner. I mean that's why I literally put him up there. I mean the dude's racking up tackles, fumbles, just everything all over the field. He was the first kind of dude that was I'm not gonna be like that, Madonna type corner that's gonna get out the way when the running back come. Nah, this dude's gonna hit a spin move off the guy that's blocking him and try to lay this dude out. So it was crazy seeing those highlights.
Analogy.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. And then my number 2, of course, Darrelle Revis. I mean, arguably the best corner of our decade. Then the number 1, of course, Primetime. I mean, Primetime was just a dude that can do everything. I mean, literally almost a triathlete at this point. I mean, the dude did returns. He played offense. He did everything the team needed him to do.
He's one of those dudes where he's going to tell you what he's going to do. He's going to do it, and on top of that, he's going to show off while he's doing it.
Yeah.
He was that good.
Yeah. I like that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hop into our top 5 safeties of all time now. So, you want to go ahead and start this one off too, or you want me to start this one off?
Yeah, I'll take this one.
All right, go ahead.
So, honorable mentions, I have Ken Houston and Paul Krause. Paul Krause, he has the NFL record for most picks in a career. So, I mean, I got to give him some respect there. And then Ken Houston, that was a big dude, and he was bullying people.
Yeah, there ain't no doubt about that.
And then number 5, another big dude likes to bully people, Brian Dawkins. Number 4, Steve Atwater. He was way ahead of his time. Another dude ahead of his time, Ronnie Lott. He was so impressive. Number 2 is Troy Polamalu. And number 1, Ed Reed.
I like that list a lot. My bottom 3 are a little different, but I'm going to go ahead and hop into mine too. So my honorable mention, just because I want to mention him. Sorry, Matthew, but like just joking around. But going into it though, hopping into it, my actual list. My number 5 is Brian Dawkins, or never mind, my bad about that. Adrian Wilson is my number 5. I just don't think he gets recognition because of the time period he played on our team. But yeah, he's actually like really good and put up Hall of Fame numbers. So I do like him. And then I have Weapon X as my number 4. And then number 3, I think is someone that goes a little unnoticed at the safety position just because he was a corner first. But the dude did so much at safety, and that's Charles Woodson. I mean, I loved watching that dude play. He was really like the first safety where I was like wowed by, besides Ed Reed, but like actual my time period of watching football fully, Charles Woodson was like, wow, dude, like, I watched that guy and I was like really into him and into his play style and what he did. And to see that he can do like, play corner and play safety and still be good at both was like amazing to watch. So, yeah. And then number 2, I got Troy Polamalu. And then number 1, easy, Ed Reed, the GOAT.
Yeah, I like your list. I think Wilson is underrated, like heavily underrated. And then Charles Woodson, I mean, he's the inventor of extending defensive backs' careers, showing that you can move to safety and still be successful and extend your career and play longer in the league and still be one of the best at the positions.
I mean, yeah, like it's unnoticed. Like that season, he left the Raiders and he played with Rodgers and they won the Super Bowl. How much of an impact he made at corner on Green Bay? He was really that one piece that they needed to go out there and give Aaron Rodgers the ball back every single time and let them win. He was really that guy that made the play. You know, and it's crazy to see that this dude has been locking people down too and playing corner at a very high level as well, and then come into the league and say, hey, I'm gonna be the Tom Brady of D-backs. I'm gonna play until I'm 40. I'm gonna get up there and move my position around and still be successful at what I do, no matter what my age is. It's kind of like that Fitz mentality. Like, you think he's not fast or you think he can't make a play, but then when he does, you realize that like the old man still got it. Like that's what his end of his
Yeah.
career was like, and it's impressive to watch, especially on the defense side of the ball because defensive players like Fitzgerald's amazing to watch. Don't get me wrong, but Fitzgerald can take 40, 50 snaps and be okay and have a like receiver sub in. But Charles Woodson is taking 180 snaps per game because he's that dude play calling. He's that dude putting the defense in place where they need to be to win. So he kind of gets no off day or no break or no split like play time at all.
He wouldn't want it any other way either.
Yeah, because you
You'd always
wouldn't.
want it on the field.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to take him out of the field if you're a defensive coordinator because you know that he can make plays. Like, why would you want to take off your playmaker?
Mm-hmm.
They had to have been devastated when he retired. I mean, the Raiders were at a huge loss when they knew he retired. It was going to be a while before someone filled in his shoes.
And they still haven't found anybody to do it.
Nope. So that'll be that portion of the cornerback thing. We still have a little bit of time here, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into some personal updates. In the gaming podcast, we'll go ahead and hop into this first. We talked about the games we were currently playing, and Dylan can give you guys a little update on his Pokemon, which he never played any of them, but he just finished something that's really huge for someone that really doesn't play these games all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and let him explain what it was like playing this game and what he actually did.
So my first impressions on Pokemon Sword, I didn't like. I've never gotten a Pokemon when I was little. I never watched the show or anything, or played any of the games on Game Boy or anything really. And then I don't know, just it just looked cool, and Junior persuaded me into buying it. He said that he think I'd like it, so I tried it out, and lo and behold, 85 hours deep, still leveling up Pokemon, and completed the Pokedex, all 400, and I mean it's just been a grind the past few weeks. I played that while I was sick. It was something to keep my mind off of it, and yeah, and I completed Last of Us 2.
Both games,
Greatest game of all time.
yeah, both games that you said you want to finish in that podcast, you went ahead and finished.
Just needed something to motivate me, and I guess that was it.
Like, Yeah, but I kind of knew you would like the game. I'm really glad that you do like the game. Now I just gotta persuade you into getting the DLC to keep having things to do. But yeah, it's a really fun game. You know, for people that aren't super into Pokemon, or even if they are, and you don't want to like play it like the old one. It's really not similar to the old one. It is and it isn't in its own way. But yeah, Sword and Shield is actually an amazing game, and I'm excited to see where the content goes. Hopefully, they bring more things out to it to keep it fun. But yeah, on my personal update, for those of you that follow my solo channel or anything like that, you guys know that I've been excited for Real Company. It is out. It's a really fun game to play. That's really all we're doing now. We all started a franchise again on Madden, a Legend franchise, just to finish this horrible game. But until the next one comes out, hopefully it's not horrible. But I love and hate it with the passion. But that is something that we did. So yeah, it's been really fun. We all like playing franchise together. We have a little group of friends that we play franchise with. So you know, it's something fun to do on the side. And now we can tell you guys about the next podcast coming up before we end up ending this one, because we are coming down to the end of this one. But I want you guys to know that we have another podcast planned with two special guests. One of them has been on the podcast before, so it's not hard to guess. I mean, if you guys want to know, I'll go ahead and link the SoundCloud ones from the old podcast, and maybe you guys can get an idea of who we've only guested besides the two guys that I actually co-hosted with now. So yeah, and then we're gonna be talking about our Call of Duty rankings. So you know, that's a surprise for you guys to, or something for you guys to be eager to watch, because you know we all play different Call of Duties. We all like different Call of Duties. So it's gonna be fun to go ahead and dive into a big portion of all of our lives from a player standpoint, playing the game competitive or casual. So yeah, I think that's gonna be something that you guys will enjoy. You guys will also get a break from the football episodes, because we've been bringing out football episodes so much. We're working really hard on ideas for the podcast. So if there's anything you know you want to see us do, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. Anything that we should talk about, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. You know, you could always reach us on Twitter, tag us in things, you know, show us things that we could possibly do for our podcast. We just want to grow and get better. So that's something that we plan on doing. Other than that, that is pretty much it. That's all I have to say for you guys. Do you have anything you want to tell on Dylan, or something they should watch out for, or anything like that?
No, you pretty much covered it.
All right, then.
Pretty
It
much
has
covered
been
everything.
your boy Trip Export. You can catch all my links in the description below. Make sure to stay tuned to my channel. I'm going to be uploading Road Company very soon. Like I said, next Friday that episode will be out for you guys. So yeah, I'm gonna let my co-host do his outro, and that'll be it.
So you can catch all my links down in the description, my link tree, and go check out our other host that couldn't be here today, Justice. Go check out all his links. He's been coming out with new YouTube videos recently. He's been streaming a bunch. He's been on the grind, so make sure to go check him out. Him and Junior are going to be playing Rogue Company, so I'm sure he'll start streaming that. So go check him out.
Yes, indeed. It gives me motivation to want to stream with him. So yeah, that's something that I want to get into too. But other than that, it has been the Overnight Podcast. I have hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.